Well, it is a shame that we can't be together in one place, but the fact that we're together on a screen like this doesn't mean we can't share stories. In fact, probably it makes it easier if I'm honest, because I won't hear you if you interrupt me. So, I will tell you a story. I'm going to tell you the story of the miller who had three sons. And you might have heard it before. If you've heard it before, you can stop the video, tell my story to someone else. Maybe your auntie would like to hear it down the phone. But if you haven't heard it before, listen to me. Once upon a time there was a miller who had three sons. He brought them up till they were tiny, and he brought them up till they were big boys. And when they were big boys, he called them together. He said, "Sons, you are big boys now, and it's time for you to learn to make your own way in the world. Yes, there's not enough work for all you people here at the mill, so you need to go off, find a job of your own, and make your own way." So the eldest son, he went down the road till he got the crossroads. He turned left. He went along the road and along the road and along the road until he came to a farm. And there he met a farmer. He said, "Farmer, will you please teach me how to be a farmer like you?" And the farmer said, "Well, there's a lot to learn. It's a difficult business. But if you stay with me for a year and a day, I will teach you to be a farmer too." Yay! So the oldest brother, he stays for a year and a day. He learns how to plough the fields, plant the seeds, water them, weed them, how to look after them, how to harvest them and winnow and thresh or whatever it is they do. And at the end of a year and a day, the farmer says, "Well, you've done everything I asked you to do. You've listened really carefully. You've learned all there is to learn. You're a farmer now. It's time for you to go down, find your own farm, make your own way. But before you go, I would like to give you a gift." So he reaches out from behind the shed. He comes out again with a rope, and he pulls on the rope, and here's a donkey. A broken down old donkey, one ear up and one ear down, a crooked back, mange on its shoulder. And I have to say, the oldest son is not very grateful. No. He says, "Oh, I worked for you really hard. I put great big blisters on my hands. I worked my fingers to the bone, and you give me this dodgy old donkey. Really, did I not please you?" "Oh, no, says the farmer. "No, this is a magic donkey. If you lift up its tail and you say the word Bricklebrit, then pure gold will come out." "Well," says the oldest son, "that doesn't sound very convincing. Are you sure that's true?" "Of course it's true. Don't you trust me? Here, try it. Lift up his tail, say Bricklebrit, and see what happens." So the eldest son lifts up the donkey's tail, and he says, "Bricklebrit." Out comes pure gold. "Well," he says, "that is a very generous gift. Thank you." He takes the rope and he leads the donkey away, and he travels the world. And if he meets a poor person, he lifts the tail, he says Bricklebrit, out comes gold, and he makes a rich person. Once he came to a village where the harvest had failed, and the people could not afford to pay their rent, and the landlord was threatening to throw them out on the street. He said, "People, bring your bags, bring your hat, bring whatever. I'll fill them with gold." And he brings that, they all come, they queue up. Bricklebrit, gold. Next one. Bricklebrit, gold. Fills them all till they're all richer than the landlord and they can do what they want. But after the year and a day, he says, "Well, I've had a fun time, but probably I should go back and see my old dad, show him what I've made of myself." And he travels back days and days and days, and he's nearly back at the mill, just half a day's journey away, when he sees that night is falling. Oh, he says, "I don't want to travel all night and arrive all tousled and tussled and sleepless. I'd rather arrive rested. I'll stay in this inn by the side of the road. I can see there's a light on in a window. They'll let me in." So he knocks on the door. "Who is it?" says a voice from inside. He says, "It's just a lonely traveller. I've come. I hoped I could stay the night at your inn." "No, we're full." "Oh, come on, please let me in. I can give you as much gold as you can carry." And the door opens right up. "What did you say, gold?" "Yes," says the son. Of course I can. Look, see my donkey? It's a magic donkey. I can give you as much gold as you want. Look, I'll show you. lifts the tail, Bricklebrit, tons of golden fork. He says, you can have all of it. Just let me say, have all of it. Oh, you lift the tail, yeah. You say Bricklebrit, yeah, and it does that every time. Ooh, says the landlord, and he takes him in. Goes, oh, you can sleep in the finest room, in the comfiest bed. And he takes him up the stairs and shows him a lovely bed with pillows and a quilt. And he says, you sure you don't want to leave the donkey in the shed? He goes, no, the donkey comes with me everywhere. It's a very special donkey. I can see it's a special donkey. Ties the rope onto the end of the bed, tightens it up. I know. Says, can I help you any more, sir? Goes, no, I've got everything I need here. Landlord goes away, jumps to bed. Oh, a couple of seconds, he's asleep. But in the night, there are steps on the stairway. And the bedroom door creaks open, and in comes that old innkeeper. He undoes the knot, and he takes the donkey away, leads it down the stairs, puts it in the stable. He comes back with another donkey that looks almost exactly the same. He's got one ear down, one ear up. He's got a crooked back. He's got mange on the shoulder. And he ties that donkey onto the end of the bed. So when the oldest son wakes up in the morning, today I'm going to see my dad. And he unties the donkey, he takes it down the stairs, and he takes it down the road. He gets to the old mill. He says, Dad, I'm back, and I can make us all rich. Call together Grandpa Joe and Grandma June and the aunties and the uncles and all of the cousins. Bring them round and make us all rich. How are you going to make us rich, son? He goes, I'm going to make you rich with my magic donkey. Son, are you sure this is a good idea? Yes, Dad. Call them together if you ever trusted me. If you ever had a high regard for me, Dad, call them all together and let me show you what I've made of myself. So what can Dad do? He has to trust. And he calls the whole family together with their bags and their hats and their sacks and their buckets. He says, gather round. He says he's going to make us rich. And the eldest son steps and goes, welcome everybody. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you for coming. Why don't you form an orderly queue? Form an orderly queue and make you all rich. Okay, who should we put at the front? Oh, Grandma June, you come front. That's a lovely big hat you got there. You hold your hat there. Hold your hat under the back of the donkey. Hold your hat under the back of the donkey. Hold it there, just there. I'm going to make you rich. And he lifts up the tail and he says, Bricklebrit. Not gold. Oh, he says, this has never happened before. I wonder what's gone wrong. Poor donkey, are you not well? Maybe he's nervous. Never mind. Auntie June, you go and clean your hat. Come on, Grandpa Joe, you come forward. I see you got your leather bag there. Hold the leather bag. Nice leather bag. The one he uses for the documents and the stuff. So you hold it on there. Sorry about that first one, but we'll have another go. Lifts up the tail. Bricklebrit. Not gold. And the miller is mortified. Oh, son, you've let yourself down. You've let all of us down. Oh, you are not fit to be a farmer. You're not fit to be anything, mate. You're going to have to stay here and work in the mill. You carry those sacks up to the first floor. Go on, get on with you. Go on, get. Second son. The second son, he went down the road until he got to the crossroads. He went straight ahead and he went along until he got to a carpenter's shop. And he said, Carpenter, will you teach me how to be a carpenter just like you? And the carpenter said, well, it's a tough job. There's a lot to learn. But if you stay for a year and a day, I'll teach you to do it. So the son stayed for a year and a day and he learned how to saw and how to hammer and how to plane and how to sand. And at the end of a year and a day, the carpenter said, well, you've done everything I asked you to do. You listened carefully. You learned everything there is to learn. You're a carpenter too, just like me. Time for you to go and get your own job in a carpenter's shop somewhere. But before you go, I'd like to give you a gift. He went out to the shed and he brought back a table, a rickety old table, all splintery with one leg shorter than the other. He said, take this table on your journeys. May it see you well. Well, our second son was not convinced. He was not very grateful. He said, not sure. I mean, I've worked very hard for you. I've put blisters on my hands. I worked my fingers to the bone. And did I do something wrong? Did I hurt you? You give me this splintery old table. no, says the carpenter. This is a magic table. Look, spit on your hand, slap it on the table, say, table, spread yourself. Try it. So the second son, nothing to lose, spits on his hand, bam, and whacks it on the table. Table, spread yourself. And the table does spread itself. Spread itself with a beautiful fine cloth, with silver knives and forks and bone china plates and bowls and a jug of sparkling water and roast chicken and potatoes and vegetables and everything you like. It was all there. He says this will happen every time. It's a magic table. It makes food. It spreads itself. That's what it does. Wow, says the middle son. What a lovely gift. Thank you. And he takes the table and he travels the world. If he meets a hungry person, spread yourself. That person can have whatever they want. They could have fish and chips, or they could have jelly and ice cream. They could have, what would you have? They can have that. Anything. He came to a village once where the harvest had failed and the people had no food. And he called all the people together. He said, come on, gather round. Bam, spread yourself. The whole village had a feast all together. It's a pretty good life. But at the end of another year and a day, he says, oh, I think I should go back and see how my dad's getting on. Show him what I've made of myself. So he heads back days and days and days. And he's nearly back at his father's mill, just half a day's journey, when he sees night is falling. He says, I don't want to sleep out in the night. I don't want to travel through it and get there all tousled and ragged and tired. I'd rather sleep in this inn. I can see there's a light on. Someone's still up. So he knocks on the door. Who's there? It's just me. I just come to sleep tonight. Oh, I don't want any more people. Wherefore? Because I could feed everybody in the inn. You wouldn't have to cook. Oh, what are you talking about? Because look, I've got a magic table. I can feed the whole inn. Everybody can have whatever they like. All I have to do is spit on my hand, whack the table. I say, table, spread yourself. The table spreads itself with anything that anybody wants. Bring it in and show me. So he takes it in, and there's an inn full of guests, but he spread yourself. Everybody has whatever they want. Tandoori they have moussaka, they have pierogi, they have injera, they have whatever they want. Everybody can have what they want. They're all full. At the end of it, the innkeeper says, oh, that's great. I can let you have the best room. You can have my bed. Why don't you leave the table down here, though? Just leave it in no corner. No. Table comes everywhere with me. It's a very special table. So he carries the table up the stairs into the best room. There's the bed, pillows, quilt. Puts the table at the end of the bed. Innkeeper says, have you got everything you want? He goes, oh, I've got everything I want. Yeah, I'm fine. Puts his head on the pillow. 2 seconds later, he's asleep. But in the night, the steps on the stairs. Bedroom door opens. In comes that old innkeeper, and he takes a hold of the table and he takes it away. He takes it downstairs, puts it in the stable. And he comes back with another table. It looks exactly the same. Splintery old table, one leg short than the other. And he puts it up against the edge of the bed and he sneaks away. And in the morning, middle son wakes up. Yeah! Hey, today's the day I'm going to see my dad. Show what I made of myself. Picks up his table, so he thinks, down the road. There is at the mill. He goes, Dad, call the whole family together. Get Grandpa Joe, get Grandma June, get all the uncles, get all the aunties, get all the little cousins, bring them together. We're going to have a feast. Oh, says his father, once bitten, twice shy. Are you sure this is a good idea? It's a bit like what happened with your brother. Because no, I don't know what you mean. Because your brother brought home this. Never mind. What are you talking about? I've got a magic table. All I do is I spit my hand. I say, and it feeds everyone. Call everyone together. Come on. If you ever trusted me, if you ever had high regard for me, if you love me, Dad, call the family together and let me prove myself. What can his father do? I mean, you have to trust. Don't you? You have to trust. So he calls the family together. Grandpa Joe, Grandma June, uncles, aunties, cousins. He goes, gather round. I don't really. Never mind. Just let him try. They gather round. And our middle son, oh, it's beautiful. He's got a tear in his eyes. I'm so pleased to be back to see you all. I love you all so much. You've been like a family to me, and I just want to make it up to you. I want to show you how much I love you. I want to give you all a beautiful feast. So he spits on his hand, and he slams the table. He says, "Spread yourself." Nothing. Oh, he says, "This has never happened before. Are you all right, table? Are you nervous? Have you got a problem? I'll try it again. Don't worry, everybody. It's going to be fine." Wham! Spread yourself. Nothing happens. "Oh," says the miller. "Oh, son, you've let yourself down. You let the family down. You're not fit to be a carpenter. You're not fit to be anything. You grab that broom and start sweeping. You can stay." Third son, down the road, crossroads, turns right, goes along the road and along the road till he meets a man of the road. He says, "Hey, man of the road, would you teach me how to be a man of the road just like you?" And the man of the road says, "Well, to be honest with you, there's not a lot to learn." He goes, "Oh, well, never mind. Will you teach me what you can?" "Well, if there's anything to learn, stick with me a year and a day. I suppose you might pick it up." So they travel together for a year and a day. And you know what? It's all right. If there's food to eat, they eat it. And if there's not, they're hungry, but that's okay. And if there's a bed to sleep in, they sleep in it. And if there's not, there's a pile of hay, isn't there? Or a ditch. A ditch isn't so bad, but, it's okay. At the end of the year and a day, the man of the road says, "Well, I haven't taught you a thing, but I hope you've had an all right time." And the youngest son says, "Do you know what? It's been kind of lovely. Thank you." And the man of the road says, "I suppose you probably ought to go your own way now, but before you go, can I give you a present?" And the youngest son says, "That would be really nice, thank you." And the man of the road says, "Here, have this tatty old sack." And the youngest son says, "Well, thank you, that's really kind. I needed a sack, so thank you. It's a very kind gift." Oh, and the man of the road says, it's a magic sack." "No, is it?" "Yeah, no, it's a magic sack. What you do is you hold it open, right? And you say, 'Out of the sack.'" "Really?" "Yeah, try it." So the youngest son gets the sack and he holds it open and he goes, "Okay, never mind." "Out of the sack, whoosh, out comes a giant cudgel. It starts beating him on the head. Whack, whack, whack from both sides. Whack, whack." "Oh man, this is desperate. What's this about? Why did you do that?" Man of the road says, "Just shout back in the sack. Shout back in the sack." He goes, "Back in the sack." And the cudgel goes back in the sack. "Why would you give me that? What's that for?" So, "I don't really know." He says, "It's quite funny though, isn't it? You take it with you." So the youngest son, he travels the world, and if there's food, he eats it. And if there isn't, he's a little bit hungry, but that's okay. If there's a bed, he sleeps in it. If not, there's hay, or at worst, there's a ditch. Ditches are okay. And after a year and a day, he goes, "Well, I haven't really made anything of myself, if I'm honest. But I suppose I should head back and see how my old dad is getting on." So he travels through days and days and days. And, night's falling. And he's only half a day's journey back to his dad's house. He thinks, "Oh, do you know what? I'll probably just walk the rest now. Get there in the morning. It'd be nice to see him." So he walks past the inn with a light on. He gets back to his father's house. It's early morning. And there in the yard, he sees his two brothers sitting looking dejected. He says, "What happened to you two? Why are you back here? And why are you looking so dejected?" "Oh," says the older brother, "I had a magic donkey that gave me gold. I was rich, and I made other people rich too. But I don't know, I was on my way back here. I stayed a night at the inn. Got back here. Donkey didn't work no more." "That's right," says the second son. "That's same happened to me. I had a magic table that made food and everybody loved it. We had the most delicious food. I stayed a night at that old inn, and after that the table didn't work anymore. So we're here working for Dad." Said the youngest son, who was not stupid. And he walked back to the inn and he waited till night time. When it was night time, he knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. "Who's there?" He says, "Oh, it's me. It's me. I'm just an ordinary traveller. I don't know. You might recognise me because my two elder brothers stayed here a couple of nights ago." "Oh, Goes, yeah, no, you may remember them. I have a magic sack. You have a magic sack? Oh yes, he says, it's a magic sack. Yeah, I have a magic sack. All I have to do is I hold it open and I say out of the sack, and it gives me whatever I deserve. Oh, says the inn, thinking about what he thinks he deserves. Oh, I deserve a fine house. I deserve fine clothes. I deserve all sorts of things. He says, come in, I'll let you sleep in the best room. Just where your brother slept. You go in there with a nice quilt and the pillows. You tuck yourself in. Do you need anything else? Shall I just leave this sack on the end of the bed? Shall I leave the sack on the end of the bed for you? Oh, yes, he says. You leave it there. And he puts his head down. And in just a couple of seconds, he pretends to be asleep. But in the night, steps on the stairs. The door of the bedroom opens. In comes the innkeeper. Oh, he's got this out of the sack. Oh, he says, oh, that donkey gave me gold. Oh, that table gave me food. I wonder what I'm going to sack. And he opens the sack and he says, out of the sack. And boom, 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 out comes the cudgel. And he says, stop it. And he says, go away. And he says, make it go away. But he doesn't know the magic words. And he runs down the stairs. And the cudgel is following me. He runs out of the inn. Boom, 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 and it seals up. He's running across the fields with a stick. Bang, bang, banging on his head. And he runs over the hills. And he runs out of the story. And we never get to see him ever again. For all I know, he is running still. And the youngest son checks out the stable and he takes a donkey and a table and he takes them back to his father's mill and he sets them up. And they were never poor again. And they were never hungry again. And you know what? You know what? They all lived happily ever after. And that is the end of the story. I will do another one for you very soon. Have a good day. Bye.